This video will show you how to create the circular track assembly for our miniature train project. What we'll be doing in this video is we'll be taking a circular track piece that we made previously and aligning them so that they form a circular continuous piece of track. And then we'll be adding in this cube that you see in the center, which is called a pivot cube, which basically just spins in the center of our track. And this is going to be an important piece later on when we add our train engine, so that we can apply constraints between the engine and the cube to tell the engine to move around the track in a circle. Okay, so make sure before you start this that you have the circular track piece done. If you don't have that done yet, then you can check my previous video on how to make that. So let's go ahead and make a new assembly, and then we're just going to place one track piece into our assembly. You do not need to place 8. We're going to use a pattern tool to automatically place the rest of these in a circle. So once you get that one in there, you can hit escape to stop inserting, and then go up here and click the pattern tool. And then we're going to use the circular pattern tool, so click that tab, and then notice that it wants you to select what component that you want to align in a pattern. So we're going to click our circular track. And then next we want to choose the axis direction, which is basically the circle that it's going to repeat in. So we're going to choose the inside of our track. And you'll notice it's already starting to align them in the center. You notice we have 4 track pieces. We want that to be 8. So we're going to change this to 8. And then instead of repeating every 90, we want it to repeat every 45 degrees. All right, and you'll notice that that completes the track. So then you can click OK. All right, if you look over here in our model view, you'll notice that it basically just creates a component called pattern 1 that aligned all of that in, again, a circular piece of track. And then each individual track piece is an element of that. If you click on the little arrow next to element, you'll notice your curved track part is actually a piece of that. Let's go ahead and ground this. So we're just going to right click on that and then click grounded. That way this track doesn't move as you try to drag it. Okay. So what we're going to do now is make that pivot cube, which will be in the center here. So we're just going to use the create menu. This is going to be a very simple piece to make, so we don't have to go and make a separate part for this. So we'll just say create within our assembly, and then like we said, this is going to be called a pivot cube. All right, and then I'm just going to click in the center of the circle, which is approximately where this cube will be. And this will pull up the part menu. So we need to select a create sketch and choose what plane to create it on. And I'm just going to choose the XY plane. All right, and what this is going to be is it's just going to be a 3/4 inch cube on all sides. So just make a square that is 0.75, and then we'll extrude it 0.75. Right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add a hole on the top center of it. So we'll just click on the top here and we'll make a sketch. And then again, we want to put a hole right in the center of this. So I'm going to click. I'm going to click on project geometry just to get some of these lines back so that we can put this on the center. So I'll just click the top line and the left line, and then click point, and then just make sure you get those dashed lines, or you should see the green dot when you click that. So just make sure that's in the center. It is important that that hole is in the center of this part. Okay, click finish sketch once you get that point in the center, and then just left click on this, and we're just going to make that a hole. The size doesn't really matter here, so we can just leave that at 0.25 and then click OK. All right, so we're done with our pivot cube now. So we can just right click and then click finish edit, and that will get us out of the part menu, and we are now back in our assembly. So one last thing we want to do is we want to get this pivot cube so it's perfectly in the center of this circle of our track, so it doesn't move. We want it to spin, but we don't want it to actually move out from the center like it is currently. So we're going to go up to our constraint menu, and then we'll change it to insert, and then we'll click on the top part of the hole of our pivot cube, and then we'll click on the top edge of the inside of our track here. All right, and then one important thing to make sure is just that the cube is, see how it's floating just above the track? We want to make sure it's aligned with the track. So let's just change it to aligned. Okay, and then you can just click apply. All right, just a final check, yep, and you should notice that your pivot cube will now rotate, and then just make sure your track is grounded, which is what we want. Thanks for watching.